Vous pensez que Civil War qui passe le milliard de dollars de recettes, c'est merveilleux? Ça tombe bien, nous aussi. Warcraft le commencement sort ce mercredi dans les salles. 10 ans que l'on trépignait d'impatience à l'idée de voir ce film. Un film qui aura coûté plus de 160 millions de dollars avec aux manettes un certain Duncan Jones. Et saviez-vous que Duncan Jones, joueur assidu du jeu vidéo et qui n'est autre que le fils de David Bowie, n'était pas le premier choix du studio? Écoutez.
Blizzard and Atlas and Legendary have been trying to sort of working on making this film for a long time, and I was not the first director that was attached. Quite a few years ago, Sam Raimi was attached for a while, but I think they saw the films in very different ways, and Sam went off to do Wizard of Oz, and there was kind of a bit of a vacuum and a pause where they sort of regathered themselves and tried to work out how they were going to proceed. I came in and had a chance to talk to them, and they had a sort of an early draft script on something that they were working on, which was really a first contact story about these creatures, orcs, invading en masse this already civilized world of Azeroth, where the humans lived. I liked the setting for the story, but one of the things I found a little just not quite working for me was that the humans were the good guys and the orcs seemed to be the bad guys. So my kind of revision of what they had done was to basically make it a tale of a war story where we saw heroes on both sides and really saw how this was a conflict that happened between good peoples who couldn't avoid this fight.
Alors une fois le projet lancé et le réalisateur engagé, il a fallu se concentrer sur le défi visuel que représentait Warcraft. Détails techniques, coulisses du film, le réalisateur nous dit tout.
Early on, when I had managed to sell everyone in on this idea, this crazy idea of what I wanted to do with the story of the movie, we knew that the only way it was going to work, especially with so much of the film being told from the orc side of things, was if an orc could hold a close-up. That was kind of the rule of thumb that we gave ourselves. So working with Bill Westenhofer, who's my VFX supervisor, we went to visit ILM, the amazing ILM, so special effects company, who had just come off of doing The Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movie. And we met with a guy called Jeff White, who was actually, in charge of that particular character. And we talked to him, and he showed us the sort of latest state-of-the-art in the technology that they were doing for motion capture, in particular for facial motion capture. And that really gave us the confidence that motion capture and facial motion capture was really the way that we were going to be able to achieve those characters. And it was so important that we were going to be able to capture whatever the actor wanted to do, whatever nuance that they had as far as their performance goes. We needed to capture just the slightest detail if we were going to pull this off.
Et vous vous en doutez, un film comme Warcraft nécessite un très grand nombre de figurants. Au total, près de 1000 personnes se baladaient chaque jour sur le plateau, ce qui n'a pas eu l'air d'effrayer le réalisateur.
There was an epic just in making the film. It was incredibly talented people that I got to work with, whether it was Gavin Bouquet, my production designer, or Mayaz Rubio, who did wardrobe and costuming. There was a whole translation process that had to happen right at the start of taking the stylized, almost cartoony look of the game and turning it into something that felt like it could exist in the real world, but still maintained the signature of what those games looked like. And that was a process, in itself. But once we'd done that, then it was just a constant stream of Christmas presents as new artwork and sets were being delivered and technical tests were being revealed. Every day, something amazing was being put in front of me.
Alors ce film, qui va bien au-delà de la simple lutte entre l'Alliance et la Horde, suit l'intrigue du premier jeu publié en 1994.
One of the interesting things that Blizzard, who made the game, has always done is take tropes and take things that you kind of think whether it's sort of a Tolkien take on fantasy, or whether it's Marvel characters and from the comic books, and try and put their own spin on it. And I think what they did with fantasy in particular was, rather than the humans being the good guys and the orcs being the bad guys, is that they were the ones who took the idea that any of the creatures, good or what appear to be good or bad, can have heroes, and you can see the story from their perspective. And I think that was what I wanted to capture if we were going to make a movie out of it, because that really was one of the sort of unique signatures of what Blizzard do.
Warcraft, c'est donc l'égalité des races entre orques et humains, et c'est aussi ce qui a plu à Robert Kaczynski, joueur acharné de la licence World of Warcraft et qui joue ici l'orc Orgrim.
Obviously I came into this with a knowledge of the world and the character, and I felt like I'd done my research. But the beautiful thing was that, you know, we're not making the video game here, we're making a movie. So there are changes, and there was an evolution. And the video game, no matter how well drawn, it's still just two-dimensional, essentially, you know, and we're trying to make a three-dimensional world. So there is a whole swathe of character and personality and humanity, whether you're human or orc, that had to be brought into that. And structuring, filling in those spaces, colouring in those grey blocks with Duncan was what make every single one of these characters just appealing.
Pour découvrir cet affrontement entre orques et humains, rendez-vous dès mercredi dans les salles pour un Warcraft en 3D, un film qui pourrait bien lancer le début d'une nouvelle franchise pour Universal. Et d'ici là, attention, car il paraît que...
Des forces obscures nous menacent.
Moins improbable que le producteur de Sherlock Holmes qui parle d'un 4e film avant même d'avoir tourné le 3e. Voici les news en bref. Vous le savez, la série Supergirl est renouvelée pour une saison 2, mais change de chaîne. Fini la CBS, rendez-vous désormais sur la CW, la chaîne de Flash, Arrow et Legends of Tomorrow. Un premier teaser est arrivé, pas d'image inédite malheureusement, mais un clin d'œil pour les fans, on vous laisse apprécier.
You not know who I am?
Should I?
What about the Green Arrow? Black Canary? Firestorm? Atom?
Sorry.
Think you can keep up, Girl of Steel?
Supergirl, all new this fall, only on the CW.
Il se murmure qu'Hellboy 2 voudrait rencontrer Deadpool. En réalité, c'est Ron Perlman qui a laissé entendre qu'il souhaiterait rejoindre le X-Men Cinematic Universe. Son rôle idéal, celui de Cable dans Deadpool 2. Le film de super-héros va bientôt démarrer son casting et on sait que Cable est attendu pour y jouer un rôle important. Quand on voit Perlman et sa carrière de master, on se dit qu'il collerait bien au rôle. Mais il n'est pas le seul sur le coup puisque le Suédois Dolph Lundgren serait également partant pour jouer le mercenaire. On espère que ces deux-là n'en viendront pas aux mains. Dans tous les cas, c'est Ryan Reynolds qui tranchera à coup de sabre. Alors que Charlize Theron était à Cannes pour présenter The Last Face de Sean Penn, la première photo de l'actrice dans Fast and Furious 8 vient de tomber. Elle y jouera la grande méchante, la sœur de Luke Evans et Jason Statham peut-être. Tiens, et puisqu'on parle de Fast and Furious, Nathalie Emmanuel, la Miss Sunday de Game of Thrones, sera de retour dans la saga. A priori, aucune chance de la voir au volant d'une voiture puisqu'elle joue une hackeuse, mais qui sait, peut-être que Vin Diesel lui filera des cours en accéléré. Pas vrai, Vin? Aujourd'hui, dans le courrier des Fanzone, on répond à Jet Day qui nous demande des nouvelles d'Avengers Infinity War. Eh bien, il paraît que les super-héros causent bien du souci à leurs scénaristes. En effet, afin d'être le plus cohérent possible, ils ont besoin d'infos sur Thor 3 et les Gardiens 2 et sont donc obligés d'harceler les réalisateurs des films en question, allant même jusqu'à leur souffler la fin idéale. Bref, travailler sur un univers connecté, c'est compliqué, d'autant que le tournage commence en novembre prochain, donc dans moins de 6 mois, bon courage à eux. D'ici là, on se consolera en octobre avec Doctor Strange. La bande-annonce finale de Star Trek est tombée. Moins fun et moins rock que ce que l'on a vu précédemment, ces images laissent malgré tout présager un space opéra dans la plus pure tradition du genre, avec au menu le grand méchant Idris Elba et la Frenchie Sofia Boutella. Moi je vous le dis, ça envoie du bois tout ça. Allez, on se quitte là-dessus et on se retrouve mercredi. Très bonne soirée à tous.